Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight on DentonRadio.com. We are broadcasting from the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center on the actually pretty warm for November right now, Denton Square. My name is Kyle Beats. You are tuned into Sound Values, and tonight I've got with me the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. J. Higgy, right here in the building, also known as That Higgy. Good to have you out here, man. Good to have you in the studio. It's been a while. Since we sat down and chat, man, but it also been a while since you put out some new music, and so when some new music came out, I said, let's get Joe in the studio, let's talk to him, and maybe I can coax him into doing a live performance. So later on tonight, we've got a live performance of Joe's new single, which is called Say So. Really like this single, man. It's fun. It's different. Completely different style from when I first even heard your music, like taking, going back, it's like first playing shows, you were in acoustic, you'd bring your acoustic guitar and stuff. Right. And, so over that time, man, I mean, it's been like 5 years at this point,
Yeah, I guess so. From the Tron days and all that. I think the first show we did was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And so, and you've done Listen Lady, you've done a lot of different music projects, man. And so, how do you feel like your sound has evolved throughout those to bring us to where we are now?
Well, I mean, I've always taken in from a lot of different, sources and all of that. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of different music, hip hop, classic rock, and everything in between and all of that. And since I've moved to Denton, since I became an adult and all of that, my taste has matured as well, and I like a lot of different things, There's really few genres out there where I can't find something, that I enjoy. Sorry, my throat's.
Is there a genre out there though? Because like there is, yodeling perhaps. You never know what there could be, man.
I mean, it takes talent to yodel.
Yeah.
You should check out Cuban throat singing.
Okay, I see. So if there's talent involved, then you're down. You can find.
It's not just talent, but it's. I think it's just a respect for music and for musicality.
Yeah.
If something is sonically good, if it's musically good, I can at least respect it, even if it's not something I would just turn on.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing is doing that and studying music and, I take in from different sources. And for a long time, I was doing stuff that I felt was kind of fitting the mold of what, kind of where I come from and like, who I am and all that. Like, I was listening to a lot of Bob Dylan, so I tried to play a lot of folky kind of songs. I tried to play a lot of, kind of rocky kind of songs and things like that. And eventually I just got to a point where I started making music that I really kind of wanted to make. I had been playing with hip-hop and stuff since high school. I just hadn't really done anything with it yet.
Okay.
Listen Lady was the first step in doing that. And then after that kind of fell apart, it just went to being a solo thing. Yeah,
for sure, and kind of learning how to make beats and put it all together, and in the process of all that recording. Did you take music history in college at all?
I did I did a music cultures major.
Okay.
So that was part of it.
Yeah. Did you? Okay, so you were saying like if there's musicality to it, and we can always argue the debate about what is music and if John Cage's like 2 minutes and 21 seconds where he just comes out, sits there, and then walks away. But, like, that was some of the time, like, I had respect for everybody that I learned about in that class, but sometimes the music just, like, it was like, okay, I respect that they made it, but I don't like the way it sounds.
Right.
Like, the harpsichord is in my opinion, the worst instrument. I don't know if there's any harpsichord fans out there who are watching this right now and are just completely obliterated and distraught with my opinion. But every time I hear that on a classical song, I immediately change it.
Right. And hey, everyone has their taste. Kind of the way that I look at it is like, I'm not going out of my way to listen to Bach.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel you on that. Like, I mean, the tone of a harpsichord, I prefer a piano, but the music itself, though, that's made, the relationship of notes, the themes, and all of that are created, the stories that are told, and all of that. That's the stuff that I really respect. But even if you're talking like John Cage, a lot of people call that noise.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't call it anything at all if you're talking 422.
Yeah, 422. That's what it is.
4 minutes.
Yeah, and
4.5
22 is like
minutes.
just sitting there.
But someone else could argue that the creaking of people in their seats and coughing and other noises like that create a soundscape.
Yeah.
In a sense. And so it might not be music, but it's still musical.
Yeah, exactly. And that was I never got this kid's name, but there was this dude at UNT, and he always wore a Miami Heat hat backwards, and he had real long hair, and he always had funny, he had respect for the music, but he'd be like, all right, so, and then he'd just have, he'd have these anecdotes, like, I don't get it, it was somebody's foot creaking, this isn't music, this is just noise, and so your professor's like, well, this was a part of this avant-garde weird area of music, and so now, like, where I was kind of going with that is, like, with the avant-gardeness, of that music, we hear that in today's music. I mean, you listen to tons of music, you can hear soundscapes. I mean, even Pink Floyd had a dog
rock,
barking,
Well, and that's the thing. Some people would call it BS, and that's fine. I mean, it's a fair opinion.
Yeah.
Art is subjective at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Other people would say that there's a harmony to just noise.
Yeah.
And the sound of an environment and things like that.
Yeah. Do you ever
no
toy
one's
with
really
that?
right or wrong on that. I have before. I don't do it much. I like to think more melodically when it comes to music, but I've played with doing things like using maybe appreciate that die. Maybe using like a drone or something that creates kind of an atmospheric vibe, but I've never done like birds and trees or wind blowing. I think I did waves on a song once, like ocean waves or something.
Yeah, it can be nice just at the beginning.
Right.
Once again, it creates that space and that feel of where you're trying to put the audience at the time.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Very cool, very cool. And so, through the exploration of hip hop, like, what kind of artists have you found yourself maybe not wanting to sound like, but helping kind of guide your mind into like, ooh, I'd like to dive into this realm?
Well, the initial for the stuff I make, for the kind of style that I go for, the real like initial influence, I guess, was like Kid Cudi, like his earlier stuff, Man on the Moon and all of that, and kind of that early emo rap kind of stuff. Because I was an emo kid and I was into hip hop. And Kid Cudi was at least from my discovery, was the first one that I saw who was kind of melding that together. Obviously, that genre kind of cloud rap has kind of evolved to something different now, and I like a lot of it still. But really, I mean, I listen to a lot and I just take it all in. There's no one real specific that I'm trying to emulate or anything, or that I'm trying to, I guess, be like. I do have influences. Kid Cudi's probably, for this music, Kid Cudi's probably the biggest one of that. But at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to be Higgy, everyone's trying to be the next Post Malone or the next this or the next that. I want to be the first Higgy.
Yeah. Didn't he just win Best Rap Album at the American Music Awards or something?
Like
yeah.
that.
But that's the thing, is like, I don't know, man. To me, I don't even pay attention to that. I'm like, oh, well, neat. They're like, he won and people are mad. I'm like, I could care less that he won. Like, you have to understand that this guy does not represent the entire culture of what hip hop music is, because
there is no one culture.
Yeah.
Not in 2019.
No, absolutely not, man.
In 1980 maybe, but
yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of people. I mean, you even have, but I mean, you're going to have people who are going to argue that, anything before after 95 isn't this, and anything this.
That's just purist. It's a purist mindset. You have the same thing with rock. You have it with blues.
Yeah.
You have it with any music genre. People who say that pop punk isn't real punk. Okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
People who say that post rock isn't rock. That's your opinion.
Yeah. I don't even. What is post rock? What is post rock?
Honestly, I haven't. When
do we start putting post at, like, before, like, post? I'm gonna be post hip hop from now on. Post hip hop, is that after hip hop was gone? Is that what they're trying to tell me? Because pre is before. So
I think some people are saying post hip hop, actually.
Oh, okay. All right. So now it's the new hip thing to do.
Subgenres on subgenres.
I see where the kids are going with this. I know. Yeah. Okay. So
that's why I have trouble, like, actually putting it into a genre. Like, I'll say it's hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop inspired.
But it's just Higgy. I mean, that's really what it is.
There's a pop influence there. There's a rock influence there. If you want to call it emo rap, sure, then that's emo rap. If you want to call it R&B, that works.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I would call it. I mean, if you're asking me, like, my personal view of rap is kind of more 90s rap.
Yeah.
If I am the first thing that I think of.
It's my preference.
A lot of genres just meld together these days.
Yeah, it's my preference, but there's still good hip hop out there, of course.
Definitely.
So when you were kind of starting to write this new music, man, or you kind of coming up with this new sound, where did you kind of start to piece this all together? You know, because it's just very, very different from everything previously heard.
For sure.
You know,
I mean, it kind of came together on the down low. Just since I started doing music. When I first got my hands on a DAW, that's when I started making beats. You know, I think it was GarageBand.
Okay.
You know, something real simple like that. And I've been trying to record music myself since high school, and I've only really in the last few years actually learned how to do that properly. And playing with, you know, arrangement, DAWs and things like that, Logic especially, has really helped me, especially learning how to do something that people do on Ableton. Learning how to do that on Logic has really taught me a lot about the production side of things.
Yeah.
And so doing that, I think the sound just kind of came together while I made beats. And I think at one point I was just going to make them to sell them to people and all that, like how most people start, you know. And eventually I just started trying to write to some of them, and that turned into stuff. And I just didn't put things out. I never recorded things or anything like that. I was just doing coming through with things like that.
Yeah, so in a way it was just like Listen Lady was kind of like that stepping stone. You got to do that. You kind of got to feel what that was like on stage, enjoyed that, and then kind of attacked it personally.
And there was definitely a lot more rock influence when it came to Listen Lady.
Yeah, for sure.
We had my my friend and partner at the studio, Evan Shelton.
He
played guitar and bass. He sang, he wrote for the group as well. And he brought a lot of that rock influence, because that's where a lot of his influence comes from. I think he's more heavy on that than I am. And so it was kind of, I mean, that was part of the transition, I think, was kind of moving. Because I did do a lot of bands where I played guitar and I sang, and I sometimes we did classic rock covers, sometimes we did more new stuff and things like that. And so that was kind of part of the transition of my biggest, I think, learning curve was going from playing guitar and singing to being comfortable with just singing. And really trying to get my voice sounding better. Because when I played guitar, I didn't care how I sounded singing, because I was focused on guitar. Now it's been kind of a good discipline focusing on my voice like that. And I'm still kind of doing that. Figuring out the best sound to get out of myself.
Yeah, do you feel like there's even maybe a certain... I always felt like when I was younger, and like there were certain, I would sing with bands when listening to music all the time. There were certain bands who I thought I sounded better with, and certain that I didn't. Where I was like, okay, that is literally my range and where I should stay right there. Yeah. Shouldn't try to go any higher or lower.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, I've definitely had that. I mean, there's projects that I've had that I thought were complete hits and they just didn't work out. There's projects I had that I thought were trash. You know.
So how did you choose this beat? How'd you pick this one, and how did this one kind of inspire you to write this song, and then especially write it, record it, put it out?
Right. Well, this beat, I mean, I just kind of got on Splice and I started making one myself.
Okay.
It started with that little vocal that chop that I have in that little higher, I think is what it says. But made a synth, put that to. It started as a drum machine, and I just rearranged it, mixed it.
Nice.
Threw in, played with some different basses.
Did you feel like right at the beginning you were like, "Oh,
it just kind of came together"? It started with that vocal chop, and then I threw in the synth chords, and I liked the envelope that I put on it, have it really swell in and all that. Right?
Yeah, that attack was nice.
And from there, I always do bass last, so it was like I had the beat going, and that's where I wrote all the lyrics, was to the beat, and then I tried to get the bass in there, and then figured out the groove from there. And after that, it was all writing it. And that was, I mean, that's been the hardest part with some of the stuff is I've been focused so much on composing the music as well that by the time I get to the writing process, a lot of times I'm kind of tired.
You're almost burnt out.
So I am needing to start. I do need to start kind of hitting people up.
Yeah. Do you find yourself burnt out on the beat sometimes, like because you worked on the beat for so long, and then you're like, oh, I don't even want to write anything to this?
I wouldn't say burnt out. Just it takes more time than I think it should. Sometimes, it gets kind of tedious when you are doing it all. When you're doing everything.
Yeah.
And then you're going and you're being your own engineer in the studio and all that too.
Yeah. When you do it all, for sure, it can become exhausting. I've had recently, man. I was working on a beat where I was sampling, and it just sounded so bad at the end of the whole mastering process. I was like, what happened? Like, what happened here?
Right.
And that was right then and there. I decided that I was not going to sample for 3 months.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to sample anything. If I wanted a guitar, I had to play it, keys, play it, everything. I had to play it all.
For sure.
I could sample just drum sounds,
right.
And everything else I had to make. It's done actually a lot of good for me 'cause in the past, I guess you could say, it's been like a month now. I've become far better and proficient on the keys and playing the guitar again's a lot better. But yeah, man, I know you sit down and you feel it and you start piecing it all together. And so when you had this beat done, Did you come back to it another time and then decide to write over it, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, I actually recorded this way back over the summer.
Okay.
Right, it wasn't long after I dropped Foolproof.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was back in March or something. But yeah, it was a while back, and I recorded it, and there was stuff about the beat I wasn't feeling. I went back and reworked that, and then I just got focused on other stuff, building the studio up and all that, and getting all that ready. And so, yeah, it was just kind of one of those things that most of the songs that I make, I kind of start out with a beat, and the lyrics usually don't come until like a month or so later.
Okay.
Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes more than that. It's real rare that I have a beat going and then I immediately have the lyrics for it too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I gotta give myself time to figure out what I really want to get out of that. You know, because I'm not just spitting on something. You know, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. You know, it's not like I'm rapping to a beat. I'm trying to think of the melody that I'm doing too. I'm trying to think of how is this going to be arranged? How are the vocals going to be arranged?
Yeah.
What's the overall relationship they're going to be? you
Yeah,
know?
because even on this track, you're not like spitting rhymes. You know,
Right.
it's a melodic flow
Right.
to it.
And
you
so
know?
it's not like I'm just like freestyling over a beat and then writing down what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
It's more than that. Like I might have lyrics, but I might not have a melody yet.
Yeah.
You know, so I gotta make that. I gotta get that right first.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
so tell me about the studio, you know, because this is the first thing I heard, you know, building up a studio. What have you been doing with that? What's going on?
So yeah, it's in Euless, Studio Waveflow.
Okay.
It's me and Evan Partlow Shelton. You remember him from
Yeah.
Wrestling
Oh, I
Aid.
know him. Yeah.
And he and I we've been bringing people in and recording them for a little bit, but we just really started the studio this year.
Okay.
And we're just now getting it off the ground over the last couple months or so.
Mm-hmm.
We're still mixing it right now, but we just recorded a single for Mother Falcon.
Okay. Nice.
Shouts to them.
Mhm.
We've got an album that we're going to be doing for them upcoming. And other than that, there's another band, too, that we're working on an album, I think a Fort Worth-based band. That's mostly been Evan's been focused on that one.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, it's good. We're bringing people in. We went out to L.A. not long ago, got a lot of clients
Nice.
coming in from that as well. And
Very cool.
it's been a lot of fun, honestly.
Mhm.
It's been fun. It's expensive trying to get everything together. And
Yeah.
It's kind of a hassle, like, dealing with all the equipment and everything.
Mhm.
And you know how DAWs can be.
Oh, yeah.
They can be. hit
Yeah,
or miss
DAWs work one
sometimes
day,
and
they
all.
don't work
Right,
another day. Yeah,
exactly.
it's a lot of fun.
You don't want to update your computer
Every
ever.
other time, man.
And then it's it's one of those things. But yeah, we're getting it worked out. We're actually working on making a second room for the studio right now for mastering. And all that,
Nice.
too.
Awesome, man.
It's coming together really well.
Really cool, man. That's great
Sure.
to hear.
Studio Waveflow, hit us up.
Yeah, very cool. That's what's up, man. Out in Euless.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
very cool, very cool. And so, yeah, you did recently just go out to L.A., you went out to California. I saw the pictures in the Hollywood. So how
Sure.
was that, man? What were you doing out there? What were some of your favorite I guess, sites?
Favorite size? Well, climbing that mountain was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's called Mount Lee, where the sign is. And
Okay.
All that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. No,
Is it a tough climb? Tough climb going up there?
Yeah, it's more of a hike than a climb.
Okay,
It's just
all
a
right, yeah,
walk
just-
uphill for about 2 hours.
Okay, right on.
And then
Yeah.
downhill for another 2. But no, I mean it's really great. I mean it was kind of hazy because they were having those fires and all that.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
We're
Mhm.
glad that we didn't have to deal with any of that. Thank God. But
Mm.
I mean, other than that, I mean, great weather. I mean, it's like perfect weather. It's it's a crowded city. I'm sure the rent sucks, but I enjoy visiting there at least.
So did you go out there for just besides visiting? Like,
No,
you
yeah,
went
it
out there
was
with clients
it was for business mostly. I mean, there's a music conference I go to
Okay.
about once a year, and so I was going out there for the studio, helping. Diane Landon from Mother Falcon came out too, and I was trying to help them push some of
Okay.
their stuff too. But mostly for that and for just kind of seeing LA. a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit,
Go out to L.A., man.
Go sip a mimosa on the beach or something.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Man, I've been all over California, never went to L.A.
Yeah.
I've been all around L.A., never went directly into L.A. that I
Yes.
can remember. I was always a little bit north or around it.
Yeah, it's a cool
know?
city, man. Like I'd love to be out there myself. I don't know how I ever would afford that, but with the right work, maybe. I got a lot of friends out there. Though.
Yeah, I remember I was out there, me and my buddy were road tripping, and a 3-month road trip turned into like 5 years being gone. And so we were going up through there, and we stopped in Santa Barbara, and our friend Court Stewart lived out there. And he lived in this amazing apartment complex where it was like you looked over and the water's just right there. And I remember one of the kids was cooking burgers, and he was like, "Look, man, I got to be real with you." He's like, you have to be rich to live here. He's like, I'm not blind to it. You have to be rich. To
I mean, I
live
had a buddy. He was working he was working at UCLA doing some student coordination something. And he had a studio apartment and he was paying $2,000 a month for it.
Oh my God.
He's like, in Denton, I could get that for $600.
Yeah, man.
You know.
$2,000 a month, dude. Come get a nice house.
Right.
Get a nice house. I don't understand how people do it either out there, man. When I was out there, I was on the cheap and cheap, so I was eating terrible all the time.
Right.
But I remember I like would look at like not the value menus. And I'd be like, this is absurd. It's $12 for a Coke, fries, and a burger at Wendy's. That was how outraged I was, being out in California. But that's what's up, man. And so, was there anything else that like stuck out while you were there? I mean, obviously pretty different from Denton.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, everything there is just bigger. It feels like. I mean, they say everything's bigger in Texas, but like, I've been to New York and LA, and they're like, I'm talking like 2-3-story McDonald's and things like that. And it's like almost unnecessary. But it's just like, I don't know. It's really cool. Everyone. Something that I appreciate is like everyone there is just like super well dressed, at least from what I saw. Most of the people, granted, I was in all the bougie parts and all that, but I mean, you and I both appreciate style and all that. So that's one of the things. One of the most stylish cities I've been to for sure. Just the beach, Santa Monica was really cool.
Nice.
That whole GTA vibe.
Oh
that has out there and all that.
Those boardwalks are cool, man.
Really
just
cool.
Those sidewalks, everything's cool. I love that feel.
Well, for me, being in North Texas, like the beach just blows my mind. The mountains blow my mind, things like that. So I love stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of that around here, unfortunately. It's very flat.
We've got Galveston and South Padre.
Yeah, and then you got to go. Well, the thing is Texas, we got to drive for 18 hours. Yeah. It's like, because even if somebody's like, man, I live out in Big Bend and I really like to go to the big city, I have to drive 18 hours to get to Dallas. It's
like Rage Against the Machine has that El Paso show that they're doing. Everyone's like, "Are you going?" It's like, an 11-hour drive.
Yeah, I got to drive 14 hours, man. I don't know about driving for a full day, for that show, but it could be possible. I mean, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, man. And so, as you're putting this song together, like you said I came back to it. I came back, and that's when I wrote the lyrics over it. So you're developing a melody over the top of it with your lyrics. Did you have different, did you write some, scratch it out, write some more? What's your writing process like?
I mean, I don't really use pen and paper. I just kind of write it all on my phone. But,
okay.
I'm trying to switch to that though, because I think it's helped me when I have done it before, just kind of to stick in my head and all that. But I mean, usually it's just I'll write. Usually I start with the hook. I try to anyway. If that's not hitting, I'll try to start with like the second verse or something like that, and try to figure out what I'm trying to say and all that. But I mean, at the end of the day, the process is whatever it is for any given song, I guess. For this one, I think I wrote the hook first, and then after that, it was actually the second verse that came before the first. Okay. It was just a matter of trying to figure out the point before I actually really started writing it. You know?
Yep.
And I mean, it was just. I mean, the lyrics for this one came real slow. I mean, they kind of trickled in. That was during a real big writer's block phase. That I was having too. That one kind of ended it too. It was nice. I liked how it came together. I really like how the song itself came together. But the lyrics themselves were a really slow, kind of tedious process. Just trying to perfect it, and I think that's kind of part of it is trying to be a perfectionist. I'll rewrite my lyrics at least 5 times per song.
Okay.
Before I'm really happy with them, even if that's just a few lines here and there. You know, I kind of have a philosophy. If there's a line, that's just not perfect in my head, I scrap it. I have to rewrite it. I don't want to settle for anything.
Just today, like I'm listening to this part in this beat that I'm working on, and I'm like, I don't like if I unclick it, I don't miss it. Like if I mute it and it's not there in the track, I'm not like, oh, I really need that right now because that really added that. So I'm kind of like battling myself to be like, all right, you just got to delete it, and you got to find another thing that's going to work better because you haven't found that thing. So you go, ooh, So I see what you mean by like if you're just you got to be not even picky, you just gotta find what's gonna sound good,
right?
And so like speaking of sounding good, like you said,
appreciate your coffee.
You recorded like you're saying, you've been working on the recording, learning the recording process, how to record
Right.
music. One of the hardest things that I've found to do is to record to record my voice, to get a good mix
Yeah.
on a voice. So what were some of the challenges that you've kind of gone through learning the mixing and mastering process?
I mean, the main thing that I learned was I didn't know anything at all.
Yeah, I like that.
Even after years of trying to teach myself and
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, and showing stuff to people and being like, "Oh yeah, that's dope," and all that, was the first thing that I learned was I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
This the music event that I go to in LA last year. I hit them up with a different song that I had mixed and everything. And this event, they have like opportunities for you to show your stuff to like producers, people who are like in the industry and things like that. So I showed it to this one guy, and he's produced for people. He has his own production company in LA doing music and all of that, his own studio. And I showed it to this guy, and he gave me all the advice that he was trying to give.
Mhm.
And, I think even back then I didn't even know what bussing was.
Yeah.
And things like that, but I remember, I'll never forget, I was like explaining, I was like, yeah, I was trying to get the bass and the kick to work together and kind of get where it was sounding punchy. And he goes, oh yeah, it's not. And so it's just one of those things that was,
Yeah.
I think the main thing was I didn't understand really rooting chains, how to really like to route your if you got your guitar and your vocals, whatever your tracks are that you're working with, whether it's like a live band situation or with this song where it's a beat and I'm
Yeah.
doing vocals over it. There's a lot more than I think people. I mean, it really is an art.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than people realize goes into it. You can't just level things and,
Yep,
and
you
expect
can't
it to be
just
okay.
smash
you
it
can't
all
just
in
do
there.
you can't just do a little bit of EQ and expect it to work. There's a lot that goes into
There's
it.
panning, and then there's man.
Well, and it's like even routing things correctly, ordering your chain the right way, and things like that. And I think the biggest thing that I learned was just how different the process of mastering was.
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one. Just because it's something that I've noticed, and this isn't even this isn't any kind of slam on the local scene or anything, but a lot of people who aren't professional don't know. They don't even conceive mastering as part of the process, and so you have a lot of songs
Yeah.
come out that are really quiet, really dull, and they sound mixed okay, but they don't sound alive. They don't
Yeah.
sound good.
Yeah.
They don't hype you up. They don't inspire
Yeah.
anything there.
I've had some MCs in my time turn around and say, "Yo, turn it up." And it's like, man, it's not about like
yeah.
turning it up. It's that it's just
It's
not.
dull.
It's not. It was just not. Yeah, it's not mastered correctly.
Right.
The reason the waveform is small is because it wasn't compressed and you didn't do the stuff that you're supposed to do to make
Right.
it bump.
It's really all about finding that balance between what you hear and what you see on your meters and things like that.
And that's
you
the
don't
thing
want to
too,
focus.
yeah.
You don't want to rely too much on your eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's music at the end of the day.
Yep.
But sometimes you're not hearing everything. Sometimes you're not seeing everything, and so it's just really developing that ear and knowing what to look for and
Yeah.
how to fix problems.
How do you feel about taking time away, like taking breaks? Fatigue. Ear fatigue.
Oh man, I take a break every hour.
Yeah.
If I go more than an hour trying to mix, my ears
Yeah.
stop hearing certain
yeah.
things. Certain
Or
frequencies
you start
get
hearing
blurry.
new frequencies.
Well, it's like
worst.
I think most of us have stared at a computer for too long.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's the same thing with your ears.
Yeah, man.
You stare at a light for too long, you're gonna go blind.
Yes.
You listen to music. When I'm mixing, I don't have it above a certain decibel range either. It's like really usually pretty quiet, unless I'm showing off for a client or something.
Yeah.
I usually keep it pretty quiet because our ears are just like our eyes or anything else. They can get worn out.
Yeah,
They can get burnt
a
out.
nice -6.
And if you damage your hearing, then you're going to be a worse producer anyway.
Yeah. And it's good because like there's even streaming services. If you go and like really read deeply into their like settings or whatever, you'll find like where they say your music should be for it to sound the best on that streaming service. So like SoundCloud and Spotify and Pandora, they all have like, oh, if you submit it this way, and so it has like constantly people, or especially guys like me who really aren't professionals but have just done it for a while. I've never professionally worked in a studio or taken a class.
Right.
It's like, oh, I just watched some YouTube videos and then clicked to this and was like, oh, that makes that hit more, and then if it sounds better, it sounds better.
For sure.
And so you can like really obsess over the mastering process because it's one of the hardest parts because it's not viewed as like creative. It is creative, but it's not that it's like you're now sitting there and having to listen to your beat over and over and over again instead of being excited about creating it.
It's a much less thankful position to have, I think. You know, it's like, I hate to be the guy that brings up the Beatles, but George Martin, who was the producer for them, and a lot of other musicians throughout the 20th century and all that.
Yeah.
1950s and on. In my opinion, he's one of the greatest producers that ever lived. If you're just talking mixing, mastering, getting the sound crafted in the studio and all of that. And it's one of those things, the only reason I bring it up is because he was so good, people called him the fifth Beatle.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because it was someone like him that, like, you realize that production is an instrument. It's a bunch of instruments, and it's a whole different game than just writing the song and playing the song and all of that. Because without the producer, you don't sound good, period, in the studio, you know. 5 mics on a drum still need to be mixed.
Yep.
You know, and that's kind of the thing. I mean, like, a lot of people don't know that, like, Strawberry Fields Forever's 2 different takes just smashed together.
Yeah.
That takes a genius to be able to do something like that with scissors.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Today we have it easy.
Yeah.
You know, we have Pro Tools and we have Logic.
We can see it all.
We have Reaper and we have countless DAWs that we can.
I can take a song and just reverse it and just flip it totally backwards, and then it's
You make a mistake, it's non-destructive anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Just delete.
Exactly. And,
yeah, dude.
And
so easy.
I can't imagine trying to do all that analog.
Do you think now? Do you think that an increase in technology leads to a lack of quality music?
I think it is the touch, not the tools.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think if you allow technology in a digital age to make you lazy, then it's going to be lazy. But I think you can discipline yourself. You know, obviously there are some things that cannot be replaced digitally.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you can't replace tubes digitally. You know, really, really good compressor should still be physical, but you can have really, really good plugins that are also compressors.
Yeah, I know, but man, those compressors that are an analog compressor or hardware
or
is
something
just
like
so
a saturator.
Nice.
There's certain qualities that analog does provide when it comes to tone and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you really know what you're doing and you study the craft, you can make digital work. I mean, that's what it's for. It's meant to
exactly
to recreate those things. It's not going to be exactly on the mark, but
but
I mean, like at the studio, we don't have actual physical reel-to-reel in there, but for mastering, we will fake it.
We have all kinds of tools to do that, and if you do it right, no one's going to hear that and be like, oh, that's fake tape. That is not real to real.
They'd be like, oh, that vinyl static is fake.
Yeah. Of course the vinyl static is fake. It's a digital recording.
They'd be like,
no, we put wax down and just recorded the and then we looped that 100 times to put it over the record. Like, no, that's not.
It's like, I mean, even back in the day when you were doing things without digital help and things like that, if you wanted Foley for a song, for example, I can't think of the song. I remember I was touring RCA Studios in Nashville once, and there was a song that we were talking about. Started with supposed to be like a soda opening, you know, opening. You used anything. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't anything like that. You fake things like that.
Yeah.
It's just a digital version of doing so.
Yeah, even like I forget what show it was, man, but it was a special effects guy showing, like, here's how I record all these noises, and most of the noises were not the noises that they were meant to sound like.
What's the one with like Star Wars? It's like you take a slinky and hit it with a pen. You get the laser sound.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's just the recording of noises, and then now, of course, like you said, we have it easy because I can go on to Splice and type in laser and pew pew pew.
Right.
I've got it.
Yeah, you don't have to go create the noise.
Yeah,
and you could argue that it takes.
Somebody has to create the noise.
You could argue it takes less artistic talent for someone to go on Splice and find a sample, but there's art in sampling.
Yeah. Oh,
itself,
for sure. I mean, I won't argue against that. I've done it, for most of my music was sampled.
And that's the thing with the things that people get lazy about. There's other things that make it not lazy. You still have to chop things up. You still have to
find it.
Arrange things. You still have to write.
Yeah, you have to find, like, that's the thing is, like, when it comes to sampling, what I always tell people is, like, one of the hardest things to do is find something that is worth sampling, or something that somebody hasn't sampled before, and can you extract something out of that piece of music that's like 4 bars and make it interesting enough to flip and then switch it up, a minute and a half through, or switch it up. Yeah, I have my own.
That's what I like about your stuff. I don't think you go longer than like a minute or so without a new vibe coming into the song and all of that.
Yeah, it's very rare. There's only like, I mean, sometimes, I'll have like those 70 BPM lo-fi style beats where it is like the same piano riff, but it's that loop, and that's just really what it's supposed to be for those 2.5 minutes, and you're not supposed to be like, oh, you're supposed to be studying, zoning out, or like getting lost in that sound.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that's what intrigues me about sampling is extracting parts from a song that the original artist never thought, like, oh, one day someone's going to take this like bling bing sound and flip it, and and then all of a sudden they're going to be playing it at this show or this show, or this many more people are going to hear this. So yeah, man,
the best samples I think are the ones that are familiar but you're not sure from where.
Oh yeah,
like you know it but you don't know.
Yeah. Or I love when I'm listening to like K104 or like the old school R&B stations, and I like the first time I would discover like, oh, that's what Big Papa is from this track. I had no idea it was ever sampled. I just wasn't even like aware of that stuff, man. And so yeah, the whole process of sampling to me is a whole bunch of fun. It's just music, kind of like you said. It's all music, and it's putting the pieces together. And just like you said, yeah, technology. If you're lazy, I think that technology allows for a lot of not so great music to be made, but that doesn't mean I have to hear it all. But it all, but that's what I mean. Is it like, sure, it gives a lot more attention to, it makes it easier for more people to have access to it. But then we also find a lot of new people who make amazing music that we've never heard before due to the fact that you can, go and buy, or you have GarageBand on your computer and make a beat right there, or on your iPhone like Madlib did, like. It's ridiculous.
Well, and that's the thing. And then you bring something up like that, like making a beat on your iPhone and stuff. That's innovation as far as I'm concerned. Some people can call it lazy. I think it's like, I made music on my phone. That's something that wasn't conceivable 20 years ago.
Have you ever? There's this awesome little thing where it's like I used to sample drums, but I don't anymore, so I started playing them. But buying a pre-made kit was also cheating, so I made my own drums. But apparently, buying my own drums was cheating, so I went and bought a goat.
Gotta go get the hide.
He goes, I went and got it. Yeah, he goes, I went and I got a goat and turned its hide into a drum. But apparently, just buying a goat was cheating. So now I had to get a farm and start raising goats. I haven't really made a lot of music lately. I don't know, with all the goat farming I've been doing.
Yeah, that's where you start to get into the fallacy of all of that. It's only lazy if you make it lazy. If you're not being creative about it, then it's lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're being creative, that's art. Art is creation. It's creation with a purpose, but that's creation. The only time that I think it's lazy is if you didn't try, if you didn't do anything with it. But even some little 8-bit beat is still music.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
End of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It is all, and that's why there's been a good philosophical conversation on the concept of like what music is and all that. I've enjoyed it, and so as you continue like making music, it'd been a while since you had put out a new track, and so you put this one out, you were feeling it, you liked it, you said it, the music, it took a little bit to come up with the lyrics, and you pieced it together as you felt necessary. Where do you see your music going from this point?
Hopefully, at least for now, more of this.
Okay.
And this sound I kind of want to be a jumping off point. I do want to bring back more of the live instrumentation that I've done in the past and all of that. I do still play guitar. It's not all synths and stuff anymore. But,
for sure.
I'm kind of just working out the sound right now, figuring out how I want it to sound. Say So is I'm proud of the vibe that it kind of came out of it and all that. And so hopefully more of that. Hopefully something that's a little more hype and all of that. And I just want to. I don't like making predictions for where it's all going to go and all of that. I kind of like to let it be a sail, let the wind just carry it.
Let it naturally just flow and do its thing.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, I think. If you try to force something, it's not going to be organic.
Yeah, for sure.
And I tend to respect that more. People just kind of do what comes out.
Yeah. How long do you normally work on a track before you scrap it, if you scrap something, because you're saying you just kind of let it flow?
Oh man, I mean that depends. I don't think I've ever really scrapped anything. I mean everything that, even stuff from years ago that I never really finished or never did anything with. I mean it's still there. You know, there's still something I might be able to take from it. But I think like at the end of the day, especially now, I'm trying to discipline myself on having a more tight schedule on releasing. I'm trying to release new music every month right now. So really, I mean if something's not coming together, in a week or so, I might be moving on to something else just to see if I can get more motivation or more inspiration from that, and then I might come back to this. But scrapping is not something I really do. It's just it's more like I'm gonna skip this question and come back later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
I think that's just the best way to be. I mean, if you start throwing out ideas, I mean that's gold. You never know.
Yeah, you can
when
come
you're
back
throwing
to
out
something.
a diamond or something. You gotta be careful with things
Yeah.
like that, I think.
Something
So
that-
I don't throw out ideas. I don't throw out lines, lyrics. I don't throw out melodies or chords or anything like that. Everything that I've ever written, even halfway, I still try to keep it in a book or in some notes or somewhere, a recording or something.
Yeah, man. Something that I'll do sometimes is take like an old track where I have I didn't ever really finish mastering it, but I'll take that old track and I'll just drop it into Ableton and then I'll start sampling that old track that I'd be like, oh, maybe I can chop up this old whatever. I can chop up these chop ups that I did, and really get all kinds of weird. Be like, ooh, this actually, because there's probably 10 beats, and 4 of them are still in my sets now that I'll play. Oh, almost had it. That would have been sweet. But that have sounded far better a month and a half later when I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What was I thinking? This sounds way better than I thought it did at that
Always
point.
sleep on it.
Yeah.
You always want to sleep on it, even if sleeping on it is coming back in a month.
Yeah, sometimes I think about the mix in my sleep too. It's bad, man. It's bad, dude.
Don't want to overthink
crazy.
it too.
Yeah, man.
I think that was another big lesson of mine, was learning how to let it go too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's always something you can do to tweak it, make it a little bit better, but eventually you got to be like, it's good.
Yeah, man. Man, so if people want to listen to the track, man, we're about to have the live performance here, but if people want to listen to the track or follow you on social media, where can they do that?
On my social media is that Higgy, Instagram, Facebook. Those are the mains that I'm using. But it is on every streaming service. Spotify is the one I've been focused on.
Yep.
But just look up Higgy on all of that. You'll find it. There's another Higgy from Atlanta that keeps popping up for some people, but you'll know the one. Look for.
There's another Kind Beats out there too.
Look for the LA pick. You'll find me.
All right.
But
Sounds
yeah, I mean
good,
it's on all that. Add it to a playlist.
All right, sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring y'all a wonderful performance right now. This is the homie Higgy with his new single, Say So, right here on DentonRadio.com. Let's hit it.
While I'm trying to look back on life, hated, I ain't made it doing what others like. So now I'm only doing what I say so. I've been wildin' while I'm trying to get me some hype. Maybe I'ma go out and I'll find me a vibe. For now, I'm only doing what I say so. I've been stuck inside a box for half of my life. When it got too crowded, I done made me a knife. Now I cut my way out. Maybe soon they'll understand what this all about. Or not, but either way, I'ma do me. On the up, smoking blunts, I won't lose sleep. If they can't rock with the new me, that's they problem, boo, let them go and shoot me. The more they talk, the less they looking tough. Now I've been in the kitchen cooking up. They try to mock me, I done shook it up. And they be wishing I would hook it up. Ayo, feel that J-O. Came through and hit 'em with that fuego. I ain't rocking with that plano, J-No. Only doing what I say so. I've been wildin' while I'm trying to look back on life. Hated, I ain't made it doing what others like. So now, I'm only doing what I say so. I've been wildin' while I'm trying to get me some hype. Maybe I'ma go out and I'll find me a vibe. For now, I'm only doing what I say so. Hey Jay, you ain't under control. You've been kinda quiet, now you ready to blow. Maybe your light has been low. It might be dark, but that's the best time to glow. Yeah, I heard that, so you can find me where it's at. I'll be rhyme scheming, word stack. My light is high beam, there's a fact, and you might even go blind. Sorry, I'm not sorry, you can't handle the shine. I'm living this life, it's my only one, I do it by my design. trying to look back on life. Hate it, I ain't made it, doing what others like. So now, I'm only doing what I say so. I've been wildin' while I'm trying to get me some hype. Maybe I'ma go out and I'll find me a vibe. For now, I'm only doing what I say so. Hey, 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 hey. Say so.
Yeah,
Appreciate y'all.
nice
Appreciate
work,
y'all for
man.
having me too, man.
Yeah, that was fantastic. All right, folks,
Thank you.
that was the Higgy, Higgy right here in the
Higgy.
studio with his new single "Say So." Y'all can find that on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, everything. Make sure you look
Yeah.
the man's up, click the follow button. We will see y'all next year right here on DentonRadio.com. See y'all next time. Peace.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton. Do you love live music? If so, make Denton, Texas your next vacation. Find more information at discoverdenton.com.